Welcome to Invisible Strings, where we tug at the little threads that hold our lives together. From mental health and relationships to marriage, motherhood, and all the beautiful chaos in between. I'm Katie, your guide to navigating life's tangled web, one string at a time. Think of this as your weekly dose of insight, sprinkled with a bit of laughter, some heartfelt chats, and maybe even a happy tear or two. So, whether you're juggling a million things or you just need a break, let's untangle life together, because those invisible strings, they're what keep us connected. This is Invisible Strings. Let's get started. Hey guys, welcome back to Invisible Strings. I'm Katie. I am your host. I'm so excited to be here today. You guys, look, I'm in my new studio. I mean, it's very white, and I have nothing on the walls yet here. This is going to be the space where I will be doing my series by myself, the ones without guests. And I have to do something back there. What am I doing? Someone tell me what to do back there. Wallpaper. It's like a slanted roof right here. So I could turn my desk this way. So this is flat over here and do something fun back here. That's probably what I should do. I don't know. Give me some ideas. I'm really excited to be here. I'm excited to have this space to create, to be able to talk to you guys in, and I'm excited to have guests. So thank you for being here. This is the second one I'm doing this week, which is exciting because I haven't been around for like 4 weeks now, and I'm back. So today's episode's a little bit different. It's a story about disappointment, obedience, and the way God will use even our unmet expectations to open our eyes to things we never would have seen on our own. A couple months ago, I prayed this dangerous prayer. I asked God if He would give me eyes to see and a heart that breaks for what breaks His. I'm not really even sure why I did this. I think it had to do with either a Bible study or church or something, but I prayed it. I want to have eyes to see. I don't want to have scales on my eyes. I don't want to be blind to the injustices and the hurts that are going on in this world. And like most of us, I thought I knew what it meant to pray that. I thought it meant seeing compassion and wisdom and maybe more discernment. But what I didn't expect was how He'd answer that prayer. Sometimes when we ask God to open our eyes, He doesn't show us the pretty things. He shows us the deeper ones. He takes us into places that don't make sense, where things don't go our way, and where we feel unseen or unchosen. And He whispers, "This is where I'm working." And that's exactly what happened to me on my recent trip back to Chicago. So, if you don't know, I'm a photographer. I've been a photographer for 15 years. And we moved away from Chicago 8 years ago. And since then, I've gone back to shoot sessions in the fall, sometimes in the summer. And I do mini sessions and I book them up so fast every single time I post for them. And when I planned this trip, I thought I was going to go for one reason, and that was to do photo shoots and to make money. But when I posted them, they didn't book up. Like actually when I posted them, not even one session booked, when usually all 35 sessions are booked within an hour. And I thought to myself, maybe I didn't post it right. Maybe no one saw it. Let's post again. Let's post again. And slowly but surely, people started booking. But I only booked 9 sessions. And honestly, like, that stung. It's not that I needed validation, but it did feel like rejection. And I remember thinking to myself, like, God, what are you doing? Like, I prayed about this. I prayed about what I should be doing in this season. What should I be doing for work? Should I be working? And I heard you say over and over again, you need to take the gifts that I've given you and use them. Because for a while there, I've loved photography. I've done it for so long, but I got burnt out. And when COVID hit, I was like, okay, like sessions aren't going to happen, weddings aren't going to happen. I need to pivot it into recruiting. And I was burnt out from photography, quite honestly. People kept saying to me, especially my dad, like, you're so good at photography. People love your photographs. Why aren't you doing this anymore? It's so easy for you. And I just kept pushing it away, pushing it away. And then when I sat here in this kind of quiet season, I was like, what am I supposed to be doing? And it kept coming back to me. What were the gifts that God gave you? What did He bless you with? Photography. So I remember thinking, like, okay, here I am doing photography again. I've worked really hard to get it back up and running, and I'm confident in who I am and whose I am. And I know you've given me this gift. And yet the response did not match the effort. I kind of started to spiral a little bit, questioning everything. Did people not want to work with me anymore because of how unapologetic I was about my faith? I know I have become a different person in the last 2 years. And I'm proud of the person that I am. And I'm confident in the person that I am. And quite honestly, the person who I am and whose I am. I started to think that maybe because I'm so open now about Jesus, about being conservative, that people didn't want to hire me anymore because where I come from, it's very liberal. It's very liberal. And that's okay. I love all the people back home. I just have different views than they do. It doesn't bother me, but I think it might bother them. That kind of hit me hard. But even in that, I stood firm. I'm not going to back down for who I am or what I believe in. If people don't want to book with me now because of that, that's okay. There's lots of photographers out there, and you should book with someone that you feel comfortable with. But I'd be lying if I said it still didn't hurt, because all those people know my heart and they know who I am, and they know at the center of it is love. I actually almost didn't go. I thought to myself, maybe I'm going to cancel this trip. I'm not sure if it's worth the expense of only 9 sessions. But something inside of me, that small, still voice said, you need to go. You need to go anyway. That phrase, go anyway, kept echoing in my heart. And I've learned that when the Holy Spirit nudges you like that, you need to listen. Too many times I've felt it and I have not obeyed. I know that I don't always understand why, but I know I needed to go. So I packed my bags and went to Chicago. And what happened next reminded me that God's plans are never about the numbers. They're always about the people. On the flight there, I sat next to this man who started telling me about his family. And somewhere in the middle of our conversation, he shared with me that his daughter was a lesbian and married to a woman. And he said it broke his heart. He wasn't hateful. He was grieving. And in that moment, I didn't need to fix it or preach. I just needed to see him. I realized that my prayer, Lord, give me the eyes to see, was being answered right there at 30,000 feet. Sometimes seeing means sitting in someone else's heartbreak without rushing to try to change it. How many of us, how many of you out there think to yourself, when someone tells you something hard, you want to fix it for them? I am so guilty. I do. I want to fix it. I don't want to see people hurt. I don't want to see people sad. And when this man shared this information with me, he also shared that he's never told anybody about it. And he doesn't understand why he's even telling me about this. A woman on an airplane who he doesn't know. And when he started talking about it, I prayed to God, like, I don't know what to say. What do I say? And I didn't say anything. I just sat there and listened. And I told him that it sounds really hard. And I can see him wrestling with his daughter's choices, but ultimately they're her choices. And that has to be so hard for a parent. And I'm not a parent of children old enough to make gigantic life decisions quite yet. But I think if they made decisions that were different from maybe a decision I would make, it would be hard to watch them live with their choices. But of course, I would still love them and be there for them just like he is. I think it's just hard, and it's okay. It's okay for people to feel that way. And I was grateful that I got to sit in that with him and not feel like I had to change it for him or give him the answers, and I could just pray for him. But again, I prayed that God would give me the eyes to see and a heart that breaks for what breaks his. At the end of our flight, he thanked me for listening, and we parted ways. One of the things he said to me was, I feel totally, I can't believe I'm telling you this information. I've never told anybody, much less somebody on an airplane that I don't know, but it's okay. So we'll never see each other again. And I'm like, don't say that. When you say that, it's going to happen. I'm going to see you again. Just wait. God has a really funny personality like that. When I landed, the trip kept unfolding in ways I couldn't have planned. You guys, it was amazing. I got to see two of my dearest friends from college. In this story, this one was hard. When we were in college, I went to a really small school in Northern Illinois, and none of us were the same. We were literally all different. We were different nationalities. We were different religions. We had different backgrounds. We came from completely different places. And it was the most fun group of girls. And if you know anything about where I grew up, it's very white, two religions, Christian and Jewish, maybe atheist, I guess. And there was really no diversity there. And so when I went to college and all my friends were so diverse, it was hilarious. Like they probably should have had a camera on us, but maybe they shouldn't have, because if people heard our conversations between all five of us, they would be like, you guys are horrible people. I mean, we were hilarious and totally not politically correct at all. Not even a little bit. Still not to this day, are we, when we're with each other? And it was really special. And my one girlfriend, I remember, this is who this is about, but she, so TMI, but whatever. She came to school when we were freshmen and we were already friends, and she's Hispanic. She is Puerto Rican and Mexican. Don't you even think about just calling her Mexican. And if she's listening to this right now, she's probably laughing and calling me stupid right now. She taught me a lot about her nationality and her religion. She's Catholic, and she's the funniest person I know. One of them. She comes to me one day and she's like, I'm pregnant. Excuse me? She's like, I'm pregnant. I was still a virgin. So I was like, you're pregnant? What are you going to do? And she's like, what do you mean? What am I going to do? And I was like, are you going to have the baby? She's like, I'm Hispanic and Catholic. Yes, I'm having the baby. Okay. And I was like, okay, like, great. That's awesome. We're having a baby. This is going to be so fun. I'm so excited for you. I was just the most naive person ever. But I was so excited for her, and it was exciting. And she was hilarious about it. horrified, terrified, excited, all the feelings I'm sure that you can imagine as a freshman in college. So fast forward through freshman year, July comes around and she gives birth to this beautiful little boy. She names him Isaac. And Isaac grew up with us in college. Poor kid. And everyone was obsessed with him. And he was special, really special. And Christina did an incredible job. She went to college. Maybe she took an extra year. I don't know, but she graduated. She got her degree. She started working in the court system and she raised her baby. It was very important to her that he knew his religion, that he went to private school, that he was educated properly. And she did that all by herself as a single mom. And she killed it. And while we were doing silly things in college, she was being a mom. And I was always really inspired by her and impressed with her. And I love her very much. And Isaac grew up. And Christina ended up meeting an amazing man and getting married and having 2 more kids. And Isaac went off to college and COVID hit. It became very isolating and he started dealing with some depression and some scary depression. And at this point, Christina and I, she could call me for anything, but we weren't talking, not even nearly enough, obviously. And she was dealing with some stuff that I did not know about. Last year, she called me and told me that Isaac had died by suicide. And it was really awful and upsetting and really unexpected. I mean, for me, it was unexpected. And it was devastating. It is devastating, still devastating. So that's kind of the backstory with my college girlfriend, Melissa and Christina and myself got to sit together. We got to have breakfast one morning and we sat together and she told us parts of her story that none of us had heard before. And she spoke and I could just feel the weight of her grief. And I also could feel the strength of her faith. And she was so honest and vulnerable. And if you know Christina, like vulnerability is not something that she wants to be. She's very strong. And she doesn't want to look weak. Vulnerability doesn't make you look weak. But it's something that she's working through. And she sat there and cried pretty much the whole breakfast. And she later told me that she hasn't cried in a long time and told her that crying feels so freeing and feels so good. And she said she makes her feel like she's weak. Like, you're not weak. You're so strong. I don't even know. Again, I didn't really have any words. I didn't have any words to make it better. And I sat there and prayed again. Give me the words. But I didn't get any words. And that was okay because I don't think that God sent me there to speak. I think he just sent me there to sit. I remember just looking at her and watching her and just being so sad that she was feeling this pain and this heaviness. And I probably only felt 1/10 of what she feels every single day. And I was really sad. I was really grateful that I came. And I was so grateful that I got the time to be with her and sit with her and talk to her and be face to face and laugh. I mean, there was a lot of crying, but there was also a lot of laughing and a lot of us being really stupid. And it felt like we were able to fit into 3 hours what we had missed for the last 10 years. And again, I thought about that prayer where I was like, God, just give me the eyes to see and give me a heart that breaks for what breaks yours. And it's hard to be sad. Like, I don't like being sad, but I've realized in the last year how good it feels to just have empathy and let the sadness be there and and sit in the sadness. And that's what we did. And finally, while I was there, I got a call from a girlfriend, a friend that I have known since I gave birth to Olivia, I think 16 years ago. She is such a dear friend. And again, someone I haven't seen in so long. Well, I guess I saw her 5 years ago because I took pictures of her when she was pregnant with her first. But I feel like I saw her yesterday. And she calls me up. She doesn't live in the Chicagoland area. She lives in Indiana. And she called me up and she said, "Do you have any time?" And I'm like, "What do you mean?" So she had called me and she had said, "I'm thinking about coming up there. Do you have any time if I come up there? I want to see you." I said, "Absolutely. Actually, I do. I have a lot of time." I have a lot of time because I was up there from Thursday until Sunday at like midnight. So, and I only had 9 shoots. Maybe I had 10 shoots now at this point. But um, she said, "Okay, I'm going to come." And so I met her on Sunday morning at Starbucks, and I had not met her son yet, and how he was 5. And she showed up, and I see her, and I'm like, "Is she pregnant?" She didn't tell me she was pregnant. I feel like I would have seen it if she was pregnant, but like, she looks like she's pregnant. Like she has this little belly, and I'm like, okay, I'm not going to say anything because, like, if she's not, that's like so rude, but I really think she is. And so I see her, I give her a hug. It feels like I saw her yesterday. I missed her soul so much. She is just like the kindest person I've ever. I just feel so lucky for the people that I have had in my life. And she is one of those people. And her son, Henry, came up and gave me a hug right away. So yummy and sweet and just, gosh, so beautiful. And after he hugged me, she was going to get a drink, but she whispered something in his ear and he looked at me and he's like, "We're having a baby." And I just got tears in my eyes and I was so excited. And Meg's like, "It's fine. I'm 44. I'm having a baby. It's okay." And like her story is so amazing and beautiful. I got to sit there with her and talk to her about getting pregnant again and Henry and her husband, who I still haven't met, Chris, and her stepkids. And I don't know, it just felt like such an amazing moment, such a beautiful moment that I got to have. It felt like just redemption, a new life growing after years of waiting. And she's having her second little boy. And I'm just so grateful that I get to be part of that. And I got to take pictures of them, just the two of them. Her husband was out hunting. So I got to take a picture of the two of them. And it just felt so incredible that she took the time to come up to see me. And while she's pregnant with her 5-year-old and made time for me, I just often feel like, why would you want to do that? I remember thinking to myself, this is why I came. This is it. These aren't clients. These are connections. They're in the invisible strings that God has been weaving together for years and years and years. And at the end of our time together, I got to take pictures of them. And at the end of our time together, she started crying. And I was like, "What? What's wrong?" And she's like, "I just feel like I've seen you. Like I feel like this isn't the first time I've seen you in 10 years. I feel like I've been with you this whole time. I get to listen to you. Every time I clean my house, I put your podcast on and I'm just so proud of you. And everybody needs to hear your voice. The world needs to hear your voice." And she's crying and praying over me. And I just thought to myself, like, why do I deserve friends like this? And this is the reason why I came. Like, I'm using these people, Katie, to talk to you. I'm using these people to be my hands and feet in this world. It was really beautiful and it was really incredible. And I just felt really blessed to be able to see the people that I got to see on this visit. Um, I think that every conversation, every hug, every tear, every laughter, all the laughter, all the laughing, It was like he was saying, see, this is what I wanted you to notice. You thought you were coming here to make money, but I brought you here for more. I brought you here for moments like this. I went to Chicago thinking it was about business, but it turned into ministry. And maybe that's the thing. Maybe God is less interested in our profits and more interested in our purpose. He is. I think about how many times I've prayed for success when what I really needed was surrender. And every time I surrender, every time I'm obedient, every time I get deeper and closer to him and he shows me. And that's what he wants. He wants us to be successful and he wants us to give him the glory. And that is who deserves the glory all the time. Because you know what? If those sessions had sold out like they always did, if everything had gone exactly as I wanted it to go, I would have missed all of those moments and I would have missed what mattered the most. I think that we get so focused on the next thing, the next client, the next goal, where I'm making the next amount of money, that we forget the sacredness of right now. God used this trip to remind me that not everything he blesses us with is meant to be profitable. Some blessings are meant to be purposeful. So what did I learn? I learned that disappointment can be divine, that obedience often doesn't make sense until after. That is so true. That the moment that we least expect are usually the ones that shape us the most. I learned that when we pray for eyes to see, he'll show us things that will break our hearts. And that's not something that we need to fear. Because when your heart breaks for what breaks his, it softens. And when it softens, it becomes usable again. And I truly see it and I feel it every single time. And here's what's wild about it. Those 9 sessions that did book, they were amazing. Every single one felt intentional. And I talked to everyone about that. Like it was exactly who I was meant to photograph when I was meant to photograph them. God provided, just not in the way I expected. But he actually provided in all the ways. The money that I didn't make during the 35 sessions I typically have in Chicago, I made in other places. It's so incredible how God will sustain you when you're obedient to what he's asking you to do. So maybe you're listening right now and you're in a season that feels disappointing. Something didn't book up, someone didn't show up, a door you thought would open just slammed shut, and you're wondering if you missed it, if you heard God wrong. That has happened to me so many times. But can I tell you something? Sometimes what feels like rejection is just redirection. He's not punishing you, he's positioning you, because a goal isn't to be booked up, it's to be built up. He's after your heart. He is not after your hustle. So if you've prayed for eyes to see, get ready, because he will answer that prayer in ways that might undo you a little bit. But that's the beauty of it. When your heart breaks for what breaks his, it expands your capacity to love, to listen, and to notice, and most importantly, to be present. A couple questions for you to reflect on. Have you ever prayed for eyes to see and found yourself seeing something hard instead of something beautiful? What disappointments might actually be divine detours in your life right now? Who might God be asking you to slow down and see this week? Are you measuring success by how full your calendar is or how faithful your heart is? Finally, what's one area where you need to go anyway, even when it doesn't make sense. I want to close with this verse from Proverbs 3:5-6. Trust the Lord with all your heart and lean not unto your own understanding. In all your ways submit to him, and he will make your path straight. I hope you guys have a really incredible weekend, and we'll see you next week. Thank you for joining me today on this episode of Invisible Strings, where we've tugged at a few threads and hopefully left you with a smile and something to think about. Remember, life's connections might be invisible, but they're oh so strong. If you enjoyed today's chat, don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with someone who could use a little string pulling in their life. Until next time, keep those invisible strings intact, and I'll see you back here soon for more heartfelt conversations and a dash of fun. Stay connected, stay kind, and keep untangling.